in half an hour, see that.
Matt, thank you very much indeed. Now then, at 7:19, Doctor Who returns to our screens next weekend. Of course, along with his TARDIS, his sonic screwdriver and plastic monsters.
Are they plastic?
I guess so.
I thought they were real. In real life, one scientist has been looking more closely at some of the fanciful plots and ideas from the programme's 40-year history. It has discovered that many of them are now more fact than fiction.
The monsters, the teleporting TARDIS, the sonic screwdriver, and they're all on show in Cardiff with a famous star attraction.
They are, as you can see, the Daleks. They've been terrifying kids for more than 40 years in Doctor Who, but is there any science fact behind the science fiction? Well, one man has come up with some rather surprising conclusions to that particular question. That's a sonic screwdriver, by the way.
Sergeant?
When it began, the show was meant to be both scary and educational.
We have 3 intruders.
And Dr. Paul Parsons says even some of its most outlandish ideas are now, in a way, reality. Take teleportation.
Now, teleportation, that's complete science fiction, isn't it?
Well, in actual fact, there's a team in Austria who have actually managed to teleport individual atoms of matter across their laboratory.
Well, what about, say, for a whole human being?
Well, obviously, your body's made up of billions and billions of these atoms, and so it's a heck of a lot of information. So you'd probably be looking at about 1 billion years to transmit all that information, you know, from one place to another.
So not just yet.
Could be quite a wait.
One thing people have always laughed at is the Dalek, seemingly an intergalactic killing machine that's conquered planets that can't climb stairs.
Well, indeed, in the new series, in fact, the Daleks acquire the power to fly, so they can fly upstairs and they can fly after their victims.
That's pure science fiction, though.
Well, again, not necessarily. There's actually a researcher over in Finland, and he thinks he's constructed an anti-gravity device, so perhaps that could be the basis of how Daleks actually fly.
Now, how about this one, the famous Doctor Who sonic screwdriver? This is nonsense, isn't it?
Well, again, I mean, this is something that people are talking about using inside computers, actually, to sort of speed up the, or to rather spin the disks inside computer hard drives and levitate them. And also in factories. Factories are using them as well for fastening components in place.
Now, but how about a Doctor Who one that can open locks at 10 yards and things like that?
To do that, you'd need a bit more power. You'd probably need a nuclear power station in your pocket.
So, even the sonic screwdriver wasn't quite such a daft idea, and there are many more. But it's not unusual. Indeed, many believe science is often fed by the ideas of science fiction.
Well, I think a lot of science fiction material does actually give people an imaginable kind of future that they can work to. For example, if you look at Star Trek in the 1960s, the first series of Star Trek, they're actually using mobile phones at a time when, in fact, they were unheard of. So, very good signpost there for the future.
Indeed, as scientists develop more and more electronic and mechanical body parts, the new show returns with villains dreamt up by a scientific advisor in the 60s who foresaw such technology in its most extreme form. They are, of course, the Cybermen. David Sillito, BBC News.
Oh, now then, we have a